Welcome to Tosche Station.
We're talking Star Wars.
It's all about the Comic-Con reel.
That's right. All right, so we're about to talk about the Comic-Con reel, and if you haven't seen it yet, we've got it here for you in the video. Take a look. We'll wait.
Real sets, practical effects.
You've been here, but you don't know this story.
Nothing's changed, really. I mean, everything's changed, but nothing's changed. That's the way you want it to be, really. To see the way the technology has evolved, and yet keeping one foot in the pre-digital world.
It couldn't be more exciting. It's still surreal.
We are here on day one of Star Wars Episode 7.
You're here.
How incredible is that?
I can die now.
All right.
My whole life has led to this moment. I'm in heaven.
I think we've worn the suit out probably quicker than we expected because every time you meet someone, they just want to hug you.
Getting back to the old days, the old ways of doing things.
JJ's trying to make sure these movies have a physicality to them. We truly are out in a desert, a real desert.
Star Wars. I burned for Star Wars.
And I'm just going to bring this character to life.
You don't get to build an X-Wing every day or a Millennium Falcon. Every day I come to work smiling.
Energy and action!
You have to pause, take a breath, slow down, and really not freak out.
I was in the same room as all these legends and with all these new people who I'm sure will go on to be legends themselves.
You know, it's being done with such love and such enthusiasm from everybody, and I think that you'll be able to feel that coming off the screen.
It means so much to so many people.
You just know what it's going to be like in the cinema.
Star Wars is an important part of everyone's history. It's a beautiful thing to actually be involved in it.
You're back! All right, so to kick this thing off, I have to talk about J.J. Abrams. This guy is so smart. Mm-hmm. Why? Because this demo reel told me one thing. Only one thing. I am not George Lucas. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The whole thing is centered around, not centered around the idea, but almost, it screams, I am not George Lucas. Yeah. Everything from the physicality of it to the way he references both the old and the new and all that stuff. I was just so excited to see. He wants to make sure people know, I'm thinking about characters. I'm thinking about people. I'm thinking about environments. I'm thinking about passion. It was awesome.
Yeah,
so glad about that.
Well, obviously it does, once again, hit home the fact that they are going back to the old ways in many aspects. Like, in the reel, Mark Hamill says, everything's changed, but nothing's changed. Mm-hmm. Keeping one foot in the old way of doing things and keeping one foot in the new way. And I think that's one of the cool things, because we always sort of talk about like the balance of CGI and practical effects, and I think that's what they're trying to get across. I think they might have found that balance, which really excites me.
Yeah, that is a huge piece to any movie. It's a huge piece to find the balance between practical effects and special effects.
Absolutely.
You can't have an overload of one way or the other. I won't get into that right now, but you really don't. You want to have a good balance.
There.
That's a whole.
You want to have a good balance, but this reel really focuses on the fans that love the original trilogy, the fans that watched the prequels and didn't really, to put it lightly, didn't enjoy them as much as the originals. He's targeting those fans. It really brings out this sense of originality, the sense going back to, like we've been talking about, the original way of doing things, but also the original Star Wars universe. I mean, the big hunky machinery. You've got the dark versus the light. It's very distinct. You're not really blending things together. So it feels really good. It's very much for that crowd. This Comic-Con reel is for that crowd.
Absolutely.
And to add on a little bit to that, just sort of how they're kind of appealing to the original trilogy fans. Did you notice, like, the style of the movies, the overall design of the, like the stormtroopers, I don't know if it's the rebels anymore, but like they look like the rebel
pilots.
fighter outfits and all that sort of thing. The design has not changed fundamentally. I mean, there are updates. They're like, the stormtroopers' helmets,
a little more sleek.
Helmets are a little sleeker. There are a few bits and pieces added here and there, but overall, it's still the same recognizable original design.
The universe that everybody knew to love.
Everyone knew to love.
Yeah, and I have to admit, as far as this goes, I'm really excited about the species. All throughout the Star Wars, this is something that when I got to the prequel trilogy, I realized that I was missing. When you watch Return of the Jedi, you watch Empire, you watch A New Hope, you get all these creatures. I mean, for crying out loud, you start playing the Cantina song, and people think of four bald guys playing weird little clarinets that don't look quite like clarinets, but they think of these guys doing that thing.
And they became popular because
and they're huge. There's whole myths and lores behind them. And I realized coming to the prequels that we lost some of that. And now, I'm watching this demo reel, how many creatures did we see? I mean, there are at least like over 30 new creatures in the demo reel. Oh man, that is so exciting to me.
Special.
Because they made the universe. They made a place for me to come into, and I'm just really excited to get back to that environment. Go ahead.
And you know what? When you talk about creatures, I'm kind of reminded of the one that they had in J.J. Abrams' UNICEF video too. The one he's
Bobo?
Bubba Joe.
Bubba
Joe, or he's got this big old thing on his back and he's walking, and it's just kind of a special feel to it. It's the new creature. It's a different creature, one we've never seen before, and that's kind of exciting, bringing us back into the universe. It's the same kind of creature feel.
And yet, once again, it's still a familiar sort of creature, even though it's a completely different species altogether. I think maybe it's just the design team, but it's easily recognizable as, yeah, that's a Star Wars alien.
And the way people have been talking about these creatures is different too. And when you look at the prequel interviews, you see people talking about people from Camino or wherever, or the Geonosians, and they're talking about them, and they're like, yeah, we designed them this way and that way. But when they're talking about Bubba Joe, I can't.
Baba Joe.
Sorry, Baba Joe. Okay. when they talk about Baba Joe, they say, and there's a whole story behind him. He's nomadic, and he's from here, and he's carrying these birds because he sells them here, and he's got all of this story behind this character that we're probably not going to really see anything from. He's just going to be walking around. There's so much love in the creation process. It reminds me, honestly, of Lord of the Rings. Reminds me of the way the original Lord of the Rings felt when they were talking about how they were creating things.
Yeah, and that's another point about the demo reel. Like, you saw, like, when J.J. Abrams and the crew were standing in the desert on the Tatooine set, he's saying, we're on the first day of Star Wars Episode 7. How awesome is that? And everyone's just, like, cheering. They're clapping.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can just feel it oozing out of the screen. These people love this movie, and they want it to be the best it can be. So when you have a movie of this importance in the hands of people who cherish it with as much as it is important, you know,
it's awesome.
Good things happen.
Good things happen. Absolutely. Yeah, that being said, that kind of leads us into, the whole feel of it and kind of getting into the special effects a little more, how they had models, how they have, they go to locations, in the Comic-Con reel specifically, what are your thoughts on seeing models again, as opposed to, the prequel trilogy? Not a lot of that.
I think it just brings a sort of, I'll say, vintage feel to it. And there's something about the effects that were utilized in the original Star Wars movies. I feel like they were not dated the same way that the prequel trilogies were. The effects that they were using were tangible, feelable, real. And I'll tell you what. Seeing a smoking model, like when you watch something and don't realize it's a model, but it's a model, there's just an amazing art there. And it's so tangible. I love it.
And again, we got a lot of that in Lord of the Rings.
That was better.
We saw a lot of that, how they make these very detailed models and you see them in film and they really didn't change them hardly at all. But they were there and they look wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's very special in that way.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So you took my point there. Thanks.
All right. Hey, can I say something bad? I have to say one maybe not so great.
We have to get to the bad stuff, don't we?
I will admit, and I can't wait for her to prove me wrong, but Carrie Fisher worries me a little bit. Why? Okay, this is why. Because
here we go.
When she's in interviews and stuff, it just scares me a little because she doesn't seem as excited as everyone else. She seems maybe a little less, everything's a funny comment or something like that. I'm just really hoping, because let's be honest. In the prequels, we got Natalie Portman. She's done great things, but the prequels weren't one of them. And I am just really excited to see a strong Princess Leia. Princess Leia was such a strong character before Return of the Jedi and the golden bikini. Before that, we had a real, tangible, powerful character in Princess Leia, and I cannot wait to see her continuation, and I hope that Carrie Fisher nails it. On note with that, I really hope that we see Leia on Naboo at some point. I think that would tie the movies together really well.
It would kind of bring
and it could have a really interesting effect on bringing them all together.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, first of all, it might not even have to be like a major plot line to the story. Just sort of like a small little throwback to the original or the prequels. I mean, just kind of just a little bit of interlacing them together to make them congruent.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, given the fact that they've done 3 movies of acting as these characters, I don't think that they can lose how to be that character that easily. I know a lot of time has gone by. I know Carrie Fisher. I don't think she acts as much anymore. I don't think she does as many films. But I think, especially something of this importance, of this scale, you don't really forget that. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I believe in you. I believe in you, Carrie Fisher.
I believe in you too. I'm just a little nervous.
Well, I think the reason why I'm not as worried as you are is because of how good of a character director J.J. Abrams is.
Yeah,
fair. And just more props to J.J. Abrams. I'm so glad he's directing this movie. I watched the Star Trek movies. I was not a particularly huge Star Trek fan, but I thought these movies were excellent. And him coming into this, how he directed in general, but also how he directed the actors, I have no doubt that he'll get what he needs out of Carrie Fisher. And with the character already established, with the story and the universe already established, I just feel like J.J. Abrams is going to draw it out in a really nice way. And that's why I'm not worried about Carrie Fisher. I'm not worried about any of the returning actors. It's just going to be really special.
I won't even say that I'm a little worried about Harrison Ford then. I'm not even going to say that. We're not going to open up that can of worms. Do we have any final thoughts for this video? Any thoughts about the demo reel?
Well, obviously it's really incredible just to see all the sets, the things they're doing, the 32 millimeter tape, which personally excites me, but it just makes me want to cry. Like, this is the stuff we've always been waiting for. This is the stuff we talk about on Sunday mornings, you know, at lunch, you know. This is the sort of thing we've always wanted to see, and I think they're delivering that very well. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. I think they're doing a tremendous job with the practical effects, with the visual effects, with the character acting. I think everybody's really enthused about it. You know, that's something that really came across in this video. I think, or in this Comic-Con reel. I think the people really have a passion for this. And I think that's going to pull it together more than anything else. Personally, I think that.
When I saw the demo reel, I felt like I was in Star Wars universe again.
Ugh.
That alone is enough to make me just geeking excited about seeing this movie and seeing the Star Wars universe revisited.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, be sure to like us and subscribe. That's all we've got for you today.
Absolutely.
Make sure to leave a comment below. What do you think about the question of Carrie Fisher? What do you think? Let us know. Comment below.
Hey, thank you for watching Tosche Station. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.